All right, well, we got the primer laid down, we have the orange laid down, and now it's ready for the metallic clear. And what this is going to do is it's a translucent clear with metallic pearl particles in it. And what it's going to do is when we lay this down, you're still going to see the orange coming through, and it's going to create a ghost stripe. We went ahead and striped off the hood with some masking tape. And you want to talk about that, Brian?
Yeah, we used 3 different kinds of tape. We used regular pinstriping tape for the inner lines. We used some plastic tape for the curves because it's a little more pliable, easy to work with. And then we used our just regular masking tape to get on the outsides.
Yeah, and we'll dust down about 2 coats, maybe 3. The heavier coats you put down, the more metallic you're going to get because the metallic is suspended in the clear coat, so the more you build it up, the more metallic is going to show through. But you definitely don't want to drown out the color because we still want to have the color come through, so it's going to create a real nice ghost stripe.
And then once we finish that, we're going to clear coat the whole thing.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. Clear the whole thing after that.
Okay, well, we've already taped off the spot on the hood and the tailgate where we want our Super Sport stripe to show. We planned on doing that with the metallic clear, and I'm just stirring it up here just to get it ready to go. Now, the difference with this is that the metallic is suspended in the clear, so you do not want to strain it. Do not want to strain it. It'll take all those metallic particles out, and that's what we want for our effect. So basically, I'm just stirring this up to get it ready to go. We're going to put it right in the gun. We're going to put a mist coat on the areas that we want the effect to show, because if you go too heavy, you'll end up with stripes, and that's the last thing we want.
We're going to hold the gun about 10 to 12 inches back, as you normally would when you paint a car, because since we're spraying metallic, if you hold the gun closer, you're going to end up getting zebra stripes on it with the metallic, because the metallic is going to bunch up in certain areas when you're overlapping it. So you're going to want to mist coat it about 2 to 3 light coats. And that's pretty much about it. But like I said before, with this metallic, the more coats you put down, the more metallic effect you're going to get, because the metallic is suspended in the clear coat. Well, this is it. We are finally ready for the final step of paint shop, which is the clear coat.
Now, we did a few things before just to get it ready. Obviously, we took all the tape off. We dusted it off because there is some paint dust there was some paint dust left on the car. We also took some prep spray and wiped off any finger marks that we saw. And then we also took a tack rag to get all the little particles off the car to make sure it was nice and clean and ready for the paint. Now also, you want to wait at least an hour for the clear coat after you've put down your color. In this case, we let it sit overnight because we had a lot of tape to peel off and we didn't want that ruining up our two-tone. Also, when you get ready to pour the clear coat, you are going to want to use the Dupli-Color strainer kit, and you want to strain that to get all the particles out, make sure it goes on clean and has a nice look at the end.
All right, and with any paint job, you're going to want to start from the top down. With the clear coat, we'll be working from the roof down. We'll hit the door jamb as well. In between each coat of clear, you're going to want to wait about 10 minutes. And also with clear coat, there are no limitations. You can build it up as much as you want. Because we will be wet sanding a lot of it back off. I'd say we're going to put, recommended 2 to 3. In this case, we're going to go 4 to even 5 coats because we have 2 colors to go over top. We have some lines, that we taped off. We're going to want to make sure it covers up real well because we're going to be taking off about a coat or 2 with 2000 grit sandpaper. We're going to wet sand that down and we're going to buff on top of that even. So certainly load it up as much as you want, no limitations, because we'll be knocking some of that back down. All right, well, obviously it's time to pull the paper off and all the masking tape and check out your results. When you pull the tape off, you're going to want to pull it at a 45-degree angle, and whenever you have a tape line like this between the old and the new, you're going to want to pull it away from your paint job. Because if you pull it with your paint job, you might actually pull the paint off itself. Got a little snag right here. Right there, the old and the new.
Doesn't pair as well with the paint a little
So far, so good.
All right, well, we are finished with the paint job, and we need to get to the car so we can do our wet sanding and buffing. So we need to take down the paint booth. We're going to take it down piece by piece so that we can use it again for our next project. So let's get going.
All right, start peeling this back, taking it down. I gotta get to the front of it. All right, well, we have the paint booth down. We took all the paper and masking tape off of it, and now what we have to do next is we have to go through the rigorous task of block sanding it down. Basically, what we're gonna do, if you can see the orange peel in the paint, there's just a slight amount of orange peel that you get when you spray paint. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna knock that down, and that's the reason why we put 5 coats of clear on there, because we're gonna be sure we can knock all of that orange peel down to get a smooth as glass finish when we buff it. So this is a 2000 grit paper. What I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of water and a block. Always wanna use the block, and just go ahead and wet sand it. You're gonna wanna stay away from any corners or edges because the paper will knock that down, that area down first. And you certainly don't wanna go through your clear coat and definitely not your base coat down to the primer, because then you're gonna have to respray the base coat and clear it over top of that. So what the water does is it slows down the whole process, acts like a lubrication, and make sure you got a lot of light on it. And just basically go from there. And as soon as you'll see exactly where you can stop, because the orange peel will be gone. And then we'll hit the wool pad buffing wheel with the compound, and then we'll finish it off with the foam pad with the finishing compound, and then finally we'll use the hand glaze, rub it by hand, and then you can wax on top of that. So it's almost a 4-step process really to get it completely down, you know, to a great shine. All right, well, Brian and I started the process of wet sanding this paint down with the 2000 grit paper. While he continues on the door, I'm gonna start buffing the fender. And what I wanna cover first is exactly what it takes to buff a car. There are 2 different types of buffers, the high-speed buffer and the orbital buffer. The difference between the two, I guess, is the orbital is an oscillating buffer, and this is strictly almost a grinder with a buffing wheel attached to it. You certainly want to use a variable speed. You don't want to use a standard on-off, high, you know, 10,000 RPMs. The maximum speed you really want to buff is about 1,500 RPMs, maybe to 2,000. So definitely get one with the variable speed control here. After wet sanding it, the first step is going to be using the wool pad. You're going to want to use a compound that's meant for the wool pad. Once you're through that entire process, the next step is the foam pad. This is what really brings the shine out. I mean, you're gonna get some shine here, but this is really gonna pull the shine out of it. A much finer compound with the foam pad. After that, hand glaze with your standard soft t-shirt or a microfiber towel. That's pretty much covers it. I mean, when you buff, you're gonna wanna stay away from any high edge. Buff up to the edge, you're gonna wanna buff away from the edge. You don't certainly want to buff on the edge because you'll burn right through it and you'll burn right down to your primer. That's something you do not want to do. Same, you know, when we talked about wet sanding. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you how it looks. Start working it in. Make sure you have plenty of light.
Using the metallic clear added extra detail to the body, making it look so much better, and the final clear coat gave it an amazing shine. Up next on DCTV, we'll be finishing up the car and we'll be headed to Vegas, so we'll see you there.